Today we're heading to Murders at Carlaw Manor Standard, and it's gonna be a massacre. So here is our Massacre Girl deck for Standard, and this deck's pretty sweet. So Massacre Girl is a really cool card, but I've never really seen anyone play it. Actually, that's not 100% true. We were streaming on Twitch a little while ago, and we ran into one person that was playing a Massacre Girl deck, and it kind of smacked us, and it looked really cool, and Twitch chat was like, okay, we gotta build a Massacre Girl deck. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do Massacre Girl against odds and see what we can make this card do. So new Massacre Girl, 4 mana 4/4, legendary human assassin. It has menace, so it can sneak in for some damage. Creatures we control have wither, so they deal damage to other creatures in -1/-1 counters. And then when a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was 1 or less, we get to draw a card. And that last ability is really what we're built around. So the goal of our deck, find Massacre Girl. We can just draw one since we have 4 copies, or we can use Case of the Stash Skeleton to eventually tutor one up. And then once we have Massacre Girl, the idea is we're going to snowball that last ability with removal that gives things negative something, like Life of Toshiro Yumazawa, -1/-1. If that kills a creature, with Massacre Girl, we draw a card. Virtual Persistence, Black Sun Twilight, Invasion of Innistrad. My favorite card in the deck is Bloodline Culling. Bloodline Culling, I think this is like a sleeper right now, with Boros Convoke being very popular. 3 mana, can give a creature -5/-5 until end of turn, so it kills Shieldred or whatever, draws us a card. Can also give creature tokens -2/-2 until end of turn. So if our opponent's doing like Resolute Reinforcements, Gleeful Demolition stuff, Wedding Announcement stuff, this can come down and just wipe out a whole board full of tokens. At 3 mana at instant speed, and if we have Massacre Girl, we're gonna draw a card for each one that dies. So this can refill our hand at lightning speed in the right matchup, and that's kind of the goal of the deck. Play Massacre Girl, start casting these spells to kill our opponent's stuff, and as they kill stuff, it draws us more removal spells that we can kill more stuff with, which will draw us more cards, and we just snowball that until eventually we overwhelm our opponent with card advantage, and then beat them down with our random creatures. So for creatures, we got Massacre Girl, and then really aggro stuff. Massacre Girl, I think, is at its best, is the top end of like a kind of aggressive curve, because the way its first ability, the Wither ability, works with creatures is it does a couple of things. First, if we attack our opponent, and our creatures trade off in combat, we get to draw a card because our creatures deal damage in -1/-1 counters. So if we shrink them down enough that they die, we get to draw a card with Massacre Girl. So we can kind of snowball that way as well. The other thing Massacre Girl does is it lets us attack into big blockers. Like we can swing our Tenacious Underdog into a Shieldred or a Regal Bunnycorn. Our opponent can block it and kill it, but they're going to get counters left over on their creatures. So a lot of times they don't block and we get free damage. Or if they do block, well, your Shieldred's now like a 2/3 instead of a 4/5 or a 1/2 instead of a 4/5, and we're able to eventually shrink our opponent's creatures down, and then we can kill them even more easily with our removal spells. So that's the idea of the deck. Snowball the Massacre Girl. Mana base, pretty typical stuff for Standard. In the sideboard, a bunch more removal. Glistening Deluge, also like absurd against the Boros decks, giving all the white creatures -3/-3. Another way we can just refill our hand with a single copy with a Massacre Girl out. For control, we get a bunch of discard, Liliana's, Gix's Command, and Aklazot's, and that is Massacre Girl for Standard. That's our Against the Odds for today. So let's jump into some games and see just how good Massacre Girl can be in Standard. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. We've got new tokens and playmats, and you can even get the tokens signed if you want. Check them all out over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. All right, Against the Odds time. We are trying to do some massacring in Standard, a Massacre Girl week, and Sam looks pretty good. I mean, we got a little curve, we got some removal that works with Massacre Girl and the Massacre Girl. 404, opponents high up there in the mythic ranks. Well, Valve Sleeper, go. Opponent, Novice Inspector. Oh boy. Is this a Boros deck? Well, we have some sneaky tech for the Boros deck. We'll see if it works. A card that I posted about on Twitter and everyone yelled at me and said, you're an idiot. But we'll see. We'll see who's right, Twitter or me. We want to attack first in case this makes it so they can't block, basically. If they block, we pump, kill it. So it's kind of a free attack, and then we can just play the Tenacious Underbob afterwards. Let's see how explosive the start is. You're always scared of like the nut draw from the Boros deck. Okay, another Inspector. Well, it's not the nut draw. I mean, I guess it could not even be the Boros deck. Another Massacre Girl. Wow. All right, opponent does not block. So I guess we just double pump. We're not gonna Black Sun's Twilight this turn. Gonna be a lot better after Massacre Girl's down. Knight Errant of Eos. Well, at least it was on turn 3. Draws a bunch of stuff. Well, play the land, and we came here to massacre, and massacre we will. And we're going to keep getting in with our stuff. If our opponent blocks, we shrink the... Ooh, they do block. We shrink the... Oh, actually, we just straight up kill it. That's right, Death Touch. We do have Wither, though, so if they block the underdog, it would shrink it to a 1-1, which I think is still worth it. Okay, there's a Warden. Well, that might be our Black Sun's Twilight target. We only have one Black Sun's Twilight. There's some world where in the late game, it like also reanimates, which is sweet, but in the early game, it's kind of just inefficient removal. Found it, scries to the top. We draw a Schwamp. The problem is if we bat, we can't Black Sun, but I guess that's fine. I mean, I guess we can Black Sun something other than the Warden. Yeah, we'll just take the Resolute Reinforcement, so it's saying cast it right now. Our opponent's also down to 10. All right, we have another Massacre Girl, so this is kind of fine. Kill an Inspector, draw a card. Oh, there's our secret tech. There's our secret tech, the Bloodline culling. All right, opponent down to 7. So they can recruit her, but it's not even that good here. I wonder if they make tokens. It might be worth just making the tokens. And grows the Warden of the Inner Sky. Well, let's play Massacre Girl. Okay, so opponent's gonna block with a token. That's fine. We get to draw with Massacre Girl. We've drawn almost all the Massacre Girls this game. War Leader's Call. Okay, that's actually scary. That also makes the 2/2 too big for us to just snipe. Opponent grows the Warden. Yeah, now this Warden's also too big to snipe. That was a big War Leader's Call. And Massacre Girl has Menace, which is kind of huge here. Yes! Okay, our tech might be working. Gleeful Demolition. We get pinged, but now we get to call the Bloodline. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be so good. Well, we will call the Bloodline. Creature tokens. -2, -2. So this is going to wipe out the Gleeful Demolition. Draw us 3 cards with Massacre Girl. And shrink the Knight. That's pretty good. So now we go attacking with Massacre Girl. If our opponent tries to double block, we can just call the Bloodline on the Warden. If they don't double block, they go to, oh, this is such a blowout. See, they call the Bloodlines. They're paying off. We got to see the token sweep mode be really good. And now we're going to see the -5, -5 mode also be really good. Shrink the Warden. Kill them both. Draw 2. Massacre Girl drew 5 cards. 5 cards this turn. Oh, what a card. What a card. Get down a Valve Sleeper and your go, best deck in Standard. Your go. I don't know how they kill us from here. They have to have like Gleeful Demolition off the top, and even that might not be enough. Well, Daredevil picker. If they went Gleeful Demolition into Imodane's Recruiter, that might be enough. All right, here comes the Dorks. Pings us. Haste them. Well, we'll just chump so we don't die. Drop to 6, and I think we just went on the backswing, right? Go to combat, and opponent scoops it up. Yes, Bloodline Culling actually paid off. And now we get to bring in 4 Glistening Deluges. Oh, our deck is designed to hopefully be a nightmare for Boros. We'll see if it works out in practice, but in theory, we should really, really wreck the Boros deck. Wow, Massacre Girl was absurd that game. Massacre Girl just really popped off. That was actually wild. That was wild. Well, let's do some trimming. Bring in the sweepers. Aclazotz. I like the idea of Aclazotz, but 5 mana, we could also just be dead. I like the idea of a big lifelinker, like if we can stabilize. So a little bit of a weird matchup for Case of the Stash Skeleton. It's not great on defense. It's not defense at all. But if we're playing a bunch of Glistening Deluges and Bloodline Cullings, we're probably going to Wrath it and then be able to tutor with it. I think the Disfigure is worth it. Yeah, let's just get on a Virtue, run it like that. The Disfigure, especially on the draw, is nice because it can snipe Warden, and Warden can snowball pretty quick. Well, on to game 2, against Boros Convoke, only 2 lands, but we do have a Massacre Girl, and we're on the draw, so as long as we hit a land for Preacher, we should be fine. Opponent, Elegant Paula. Land number 3 is good. Opponent, playing the tap land, and an Epica. Well, now we might just snipe the Epicure. That's ooh, a bat might just be better, actually. So against the Boros stack, there is value to killing things like Epicure, because they're convoking off it, right? So just getting bodies off the battlefield is actually pretty good. So I think we're just gonna do this Saga Snipe. Get rid of the Epicure. I've been very impressed with Life of Toshiro Umezawa. This card's been really good in the deck. Invasion of Gabakon. Kind of interesting. They might just take Preacher, I guess. Really? Taking the bat. So our opponent's definitely staying on the offensive here. Oh, Gleeful Demolition. All right. Well, there's the 1/1s. Well, in that case, I guess we snipe a 1/1. Better than gaining 2, I think. Play the land, play the Preacher. Well, now we'd like to draw a Culling the Bloodline. Ooh, all right. War Leader's Call. Culling the Bloodline or... Oh, it's an Evolve Sleeper. Or Glistening Deluge, either one. Well, get down the Massacre Girl. Get in with the Preacher, draw a card. If our opponent wants to trade, that's kind of fine. Well, kill both tokens. Lose the Preacher. Resolute Reinforcements. Burns and Burns. War Leader's Call's so good. This card's so good. Down to 17. We draw a Swamp. Let's do a little attacking. I don't want to put the Massacre Girl at risk. That is our plan. Let's just run out the Bat. Bat's not nearly as good at 4. Ooh, okay. Maybe it is still good at 4 mana. Good game to you, opponent. Oh, wow. We're kind of wrecking the best deck in Standard here. There's a Bunnycorn. Pings us. Well, go to combat. It's really nice that we can make these attacks. Like, these are attacks that we would never be able to make without Massacre Girl. Just the wither aspect of it. They have this huge Bunnycorn, and we're like, okay, sure. Like, do you want to block our 2/3 and get some counters on it? Like, that's fine. Eventually, we will wither our way through it. Now, play an underdog. Play an underdog. And pass the turn, and opponent needs something pretty good here. Well, Novice Inspector is not bad. It's a body and a damage and a clue. And getting into the Gabakon, yeah, I think we'd rather you not flip that. Plus, we get to shrink the Bunnycorn. Wither. Paying off in these creature matchups. Opponent gonna crack the clue. Huh. We should be able to win this game, right? We got it. We're in such a good spot. All right, let's Tenacious Underdog. Blitz it. Go to combat. Yeah, we'll play it safe. Hit you down to 9. Draw a card. Opponent says GG again. Oh, there's a Glistening Deluge. That's the dagger. That is the dagger. Opponent. So, oh my goodness, Sokinzan. Okay. Oh, Massacre Girl's about to go off. Oh, do they also have Knight? Wow, opponent actually made a good recovery here. Wait, they just tapped their team, though. I don't know about tapping their team. I mean, this is all still fine. Your opponent draws a bunch of cards. That's perfectly fine. Opponent passes. Well, we will have a little bit of fun with Massacre Girl. So I think we attack first because they're going to block. Oh, this is going to be so good. They got to block. That's going to shrink their stuff. Wow. Opponent goes to 3, so they didn't really block. I mean, this is still fine. So 1, 2, 3. Glistening Deluge. Kill your stuff. Draw 4. Oh, another one. Another one. Play the land. We'll level up this Evolve Sleeper so it lives. Oh, wait. It's already level 2. Okay, it's going to die, but that's fine. Glistening Deluge number 2. Draw 3. That was a Massacre Girl draw 7. Draw 7 and Wrath Your Board. Oh, I love this card. I love this card. Bonnet Novice Inspector. Sure. Yeah, pings. And also pings. Clues, I mean. And, I don't know about these Surveillance. I wonder if they're worth it. Surveillance are busted if they're worth it in this deck. Like, if you're playing it in the most aggro-y curve-outy decks and they're still worth playing multiple copies of, and an opponent scoops it up, and that was a performance by Massacre Girl. And our sneaky bloodline calling actually paid off. So, whew, sweet. Against the odds time, we are mulliganing. Trying to Massacre Girl. Ooh, all right, we have a Massacre Girl. Let's just go underdog to the bottom, I guess. All right, well, we need some more lands, but we found the Massacre Girl. Deep Cavern Bat can protect the Massacre Girl, perhaps. Ooh, Monastery Swift Spear, sure. Opponent hits us. Well, swamp, go. Well, let's see how far behind we are. If our opponent's like a mono red deck, we might be pretty far behind before we start doing anything. Charming Scoundrel. Yeah, here they come. Opponent smacks us for 3. Well, play the swamp, play the bat. Preacher's actually kind of a nice draw. I mean, I guess we take the play with, well, if they just play Godric, it's pretty bad. This is all pretty bad. All right, we're going to take the Godric. So it's pretty bad no matter what. So they can play with Fire the Bat and still leave up Lightning Helix and get back the Godric for next turn. Mono red. Oh. And a War Leader's Call. All right, getting worse. Opponent attacks for 6. No blocks. Down to 10. Well, play a Swamp. Play a Preacher of the Schism. And we got to get in for 1 and gain back a little life. Up to 11. At least the Preacher can kind of block, although they could just double burn spell it. If they double burn spell it, are we dead? I mean, we will block with it if we get a shot. Okay, they're going to play with Fire the Bat. Well, I mean, we're going to block the Charming Scoundrel. They can Lightning Helix it. Oh my god. Oh, that was not the most surprising Lightning Helix. We knew that one was coming. We dropped to 6. Well, I mean, I think we just have to play the Massacre Girl. Play the Massacre Girl and hope we live somehow. Oh no! They have a Get Lost in their deck as well. That's not good for us. Okay, well now we're pretty dead. Actually, maybe not 100% dead. So we can Lockwing Scorn the Swift Spear. Life of Toshiro Yumazawa. Gain 2. Go to 7. Oh, we needed that Massacre Girl though. That's our whole plan. Oh, I did not expect Burn to be playing Get Lost in the main. All right, there's a Godric. Yeah, so we drop to 2. We get to gain life, back up to 4. And we gotta just pass. War Leader's Call is quite the magic card. Squee. So we can kill this, but we still die. All right, yeah. Well, Burn doing Burn things. That Get Lost, though. So we'll bring in Disfigure. We'll bring in a Gix's Command, an Aclazotz, a Go for the Throat. And I guess Extract the Truth. We'll go down. Invasion of Innistrad, Black Sun's Twilight. A couple of cases. A Bloodline Culling. An Underdog. Run it like that. Yeah, this might be a tough matchup. Oh, but if that Massacre Girl lived, we would have drawn cards and done things. All right, well, we get to play first, which is good. We'll try it. We'll give it a go. Land and a Valve Sleeper. Wow, Thran Portal. Sure. Well, there's the Massacre Girl, should we get to it. I think we just... Well, let's go to Combat Attack. Hit you for 1. And I think we just Extract Truth. Fugitive Codebreaker. Oh, that's kind of fine. So I think we just take the Codebreaker. Well, this hand of our opponent's is not all that scary. We do need to draw a land, though. If we just never draw a land, it's scary. Opponent land, and I assume Phoenix. Yeah. Well, all right. We don't draw a land, but we draw a Virtue to kill the Phoenix and hit you for 1. Yeah, we really need to get on this Preacher to draw lands to get to Massacre Girl to do things that are cool. Opponent passes. Haha, it's a land. All right, well, go to combat. If they want to Ganju it, they can. Opponent says no. Well, we'll play the Preacher. What do you got? Land. Song of Tanzan is very scary with War Leader's Call. Without War Leader's Call, not nearly as scary. Another Virtue. Well, I mean, we're going to go to combat and attack, draw a card, lose a life. I assume they're going to kill the Preacher with a Ganjo. Yeah, opponent's going to kill the Preacher, sure. We still get to draw a card, though. Ooh, not a land. Hit you for 1. Play the Bat Simulator. Well, I think we take the War Leader's Call. Song of Tanzan is not really problematic without War Leader's Call. With War Leader's Call, it is ridiculously scary. Opponent land. Plus we have this Bloodline Culling. If they eventually like, oh, we just got to do it. Ooh, okay. Well, this is bad. This is bad. Although we actually have the tech. We have the tech. So we get to level up our sleeper. Oh, this is actually kind of hilarious. We draw the land. Okay, now we got to think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our opponent's going to make 5 2/2s. We'll take 5 from the War Leader's Call. So we drop to 16. You know what? This is so greedy, but we're going to do it. We're going to play Massacre Girl and pass the turn. The upside of them playing Song of Tanzan and then us Bloodline Calling with Massacre Girl out is just so high. We might lose a game because of it, but if we don't lose a game because of it, we're going to get to see Massacre Girl do Massacre Girl things. So we get burned down to 16. Opponent goes attacking. We will block and block. Draw a couple cards. We drop to 10. Oh, the Massacre's on. The Massacre's on. So we'll play the land. Go to combat. Attack you. Play Life of Tachiharu Yumazawa just to gain a couple life. And, oh boy, come on. One more Song of Tanzan. One more for the ultimate blowout. Oh man, it would be so good. Opponent land. Monastery Swift Spear. Pings us. This is still going to be a good Bloodline Calling opponent. Oh, I have bad news, opponent. Creature tokens, -2, -2. We draw 3. We came prepared. We came prepared. Well, we will pump our Massacre Girl. Oh, I do love me some Bloodline Culling. I feel like this card's legit underrated. I feel like it's actually legitimately underrated. It's even instant speed. Like, you can do it at instant speed and get the blowout. It's so good. Do we bring in the third one again? Maybe we bring in the third one again. What do we cut, though? That's the problem. Maybe we just keep it like this. If we're going to cut something, it's probably another case because it's just so slow. You know what? Now that we see Song of Tanzan, I think we need all the Bloodline Callings because that's just like such an amazing out to the Song of Tanzan kill. All right, we'll keep this. This end would love a Massacre Girl, but land go. Opponent Mountain. Charming Scoundrel. Let's see what option they choose. Wicked Roll. Well, let's just disfigure that. Play the land. Yeah, I think we just play the bat. Let's see what's going on over there. Fugitive Codebreaker, Song of Tanzan, Get Lost. Well, we'll take the Get Lost, the one thing that can kill our bat. We have a bunch of removal in hand, which is nice. Still need our Massacre Girl. And a face down card. Well, I imagine that's the Fugitive Codebreaker. What is... dude, I gotta read this card. Oh my god. All right, hang on. Prowess Haste Disguise. When it's turned face up, discard your hand and then draw 3 cards. Its cost is reduced by each instant and sorcery in the graveyard, currently 0. We can't kill it yet, unfortunately. Well, I guess we just play the land and play another bat? I guess the Phoenix, because we have this Bloodline Culling in hand. So we don't especially care about Song of Tanzan. We're kind of hoping they just cast it and we Bloodline Culling. We're really hoping that we that we draw a Massacre Girl and then do it. That would be the best. We do kind of really want to draw land. Swift Spear. Drawing land would be super nice because that would mean we could kill this Fugitive Codebreaker before it draws cards. I mean, we know that's what it is because we saw it in our opponent's hand from the bat. Opponent gets in, hits us, no blocks. Land. Ha, all right, there's a land. So go to combat. And yeah, I mean, this feels kind of bad, but I think we just have to kill this. We don't want our opponent to draw 3. That's the the easiest way we could lose. They can fire up their creature land if they want to. I guess we still kind of need to draw something. Opponent goes to 16, hits us, grows their dorks. Well, we draw another swamp. Let's get down Life of Toshiro Yumazawa. Pump a bat. Down to 12 past the turn. If they fire up the creature land, we are gonna kill it. Oh, all right, sure, opponent. Well, we will give creature tokens, -2, -2. Opponent hits us. Preacher Schism's not a bad draw, so pump a bat, go attack it. Play the Preacher Schism. Let's just pass. I was thinking if we should extract Truth, but I don't think we should. We're gonna hold on to it because if they draw War Leader's Call, having a way to get rid of it's kind of huge. Man, that Culling the Bloodline, or Bloodline Culling's been good. I mean, opponent's also down to 8. And in theory, we get to draw with Preacher of the Schism. Opponent gonna fire up the creature land, go to combat. If they swing with both, I think we just take it. Yeah, we'll take the beats. Kind of want to keep this Preacher to draw a card to find our... Ooh, that's a Massacre Girl. That is a Massacre Girl. Well, go to combat. Attack with everything. Draw a card. Oh, an opponent scoops it up and... Wow. So we got to see Massacre Girl hilariously go off in game 1. And we got to see... Bloodline Culling. I love this card. I don't know. I posted something on Twitter about how I think this card's actually like really good right now in Standard, and so many people absolutely beat me down for that take. But I think the card's actually really good. We got to see it again here, the instant speed aspect on the Song of Tatanzan. And when you add Massacre Girl into the mix to like draw a bunch of cards, then it just becomes absurd. But that was a sweet one. That was super sweet. We played against someone on the ladder on the stream a bit ago that was playing a Massacre Girl deck, and Massacre Girl looked really cool, and everyone in chat was like, "We got to build Massacre Girl. We got to go build Massacre Girl." So I want to see what happens if you go all in on Massacre Girl. Like, so many of our card choices. So we're a mono black deck, which, you know, isn't big brain or anything. There's a lot of mono black decks over the last couple years in Standard, but this one plays a lot of weird cards that you just wouldn't play in any other deck or most other decks, just to make the Massacre Girl into a all-star, and it's actually pretty sweet. Yeah, we'll try this. No Massacre Girl, but oh no. Mono red on the play. Oh, getting swifty in here. Well, land, go. Well, okay, our current hand's not very good at killing Monastery Swiftspear. Oh god, that's a Phoenix chick. Oh god, that's a Swiftspear. Well, down to 16. Let's play a land and Deep Cavern Bat. Godric, Bloodthirsty. Well, we'll take the Godric, I guess. So opponent's down to a land and a Bloodthirsty Adversary. Can we stabilize here? So Preacher's a good blocker on the ground. Eventually we can block with Bat, but we really need to find a removal spell for the Godric first, or that gets us. This Life of Toshiro Yumazawa is gonna be good. Oh no, do they just tap that? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, oh no, that is unfortunate timing. All right, opponent top decks the removal spell. Godric returns, we drop to 11. Runs out the Bloodthirsty Adversary. Oh dear. We draw a Sad Swamp. So I guess all we can really do is play the Preacher and pass? Not great, but right now Godric doesn't have flying at least. There's the Godric. I mean, they gotta attack, right? You can't let the Preacher just stop 5 creatures. That would be absurd. Drop to 6. We'll play the land. Do we attack with the Preacher? So we get a lifelinker. Make the lifelinker. Play Life of Toshiro Yumazawa. So we can snipe the Phoenix chick. They can get it back as a 2/2, but it does cost 2 mana, which means they can't Mishra's Foundry. Or do we just gain 2 life? I think we just gain 2. Let's go up to 8. Pass the turn. Yeah, not the right matchup for 2Ks of the... Oh. All right, and the festivities. Yeah, this is not the matchup for Case of the Stash Skeleton. Not being able to block is just too brutal. So bring in lifelink stuff. Go down Black Sun's Twilight, pretty slow, and then turn back on these cases that are just too clunky. Do we want to change anything else? Liliana slow, Duress no. All right, run it like that. Well, this is a matchup where if we can get down the Massacre Girl, I think it can kind of pop off. They don't have a ton of ways to easily kill it. They have Witch Stalker's Frenzy, but that's about it, right? So they can't just easily snipe it. Well, that's a Massacre Girl. We will keep, and a Aclazotz. The bad news is we don't really have removal. That's the sketchy part. We don't have any way to just kill a thing, and we still have... we sideboarded out 3 of our 4 Case of the Stash Skeletons and still ended up with it in hand somehow. The susness of the skeleton just makes it so sus, I guess, against mono red, just because you can't block with the opponent land and Phoenix Chick. Sure. Well, play the land, Case of the Stash Skeleton. At least Case means if they end the festivities, we get a tutor eventually. Well, lands and removal are what we want. Feldham gets in for 3. Another Valve Sleeper. Well, play the land, play a Valve Sleeper. Actually, let's leave back the Valve Sleeper. Let's just get in with the skeleton. Hit you to 17, pass the turn. We need lands. Opponent, Mountain, Urabrox Forge. Well, let's level up. I think we do have to kill this Feldon, unfortunately. So block and block, kill the Feldon. Opponent gets to draw a card-ish. Phoenix Chick and what? Play with Fire? Well, both of those are kind of bad. They take the Play with Fire. Well, we get a Deep Cavern Bat, but we missed our land drop, which is not good. Lightning Strike, Godric, Bloodthirsty Adversary. This is bad. I think we're dead. I think we might be getting mono red here. I mean, it definitely hurts that we haven't been able to draw a land to get down our Massacre Girl. That's where things went wrong. Opponent, Mountain. Mono red might be a tough matchup anyway. Yep, gets back the Godric. So the problem with the Godric is the Urabrox Forge gives it flying, so we are taking absurd amounts of damage here. And I feel like, yeah, you're seeing how bad the case is in this matchup. It's pretty bad. Opponent smashes us down to 8. Well, the decks work pretty well, but apparently mono red is not our matchup. Ooh, still not a land. Well, play the Preacher of the Schism, but I'm pretty sure we're just literally dead, especially with this Urabrox Forge going. So that's going to be a 3/3. They're going to be able to give this flying, and they can kick a Bloodthirsty Adversary. Oh, they didn't even kick it. Block the Godric. I feel like our opponent did this in the one way that kind of gives us a chance. Not a very realistic chance, but some chance. All right, there's the Adversary. See, why wouldn't you do this pre-combat to give Godric flying and then we just get wrecked? Oh, we just die, I think. On the Preacher of the Schism. I mean, in the end, I don't think it's gonna matter, but I think they could have just killed. Oh. What do we learn about Massacre Girl? It's not good when we draw as many Massacre Girls as lands. Massacre Girl drawn, but only 3 lands. Yeah, that was some awkward running. Trying to Massacre Girl in Standard. All right, we got Massacre Girls this game, which is sweet. We need one more land, but hopefully maybe Preacher draws us a card. We'll see what our opponent's up to. Some sort of Rakdos pile. Well, let's just a Valve Sleeper and level it up. Opponent, Mountain, and a Deep Cavern Bat. Well, I think they kind of have to take the Saga here, or else it just kills the bat. Yeah, they take the Saga. Well, play the land, run out the Preacher, go attacking. Well, we want one more land for the Massacre Girl. That's next on our list. Can we find a land? Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 19. That is a land. That also puts Preacher of the Schism in the sweet spot to double trigger. So token and draw. Opponent down to 15. Play the Mirrex. Well, we're going to play it. Massacre Girl, go. Wow, they didn't kill it. I mean, if we get to untap and start drawing cards with Massacre Girl, this is going to go bad for our opponent in a hurry. Opponent land and no removal, no removal, no removal, no removal. Preacher of the Schism. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So opponent finds a Preacher. They get in with the bat, hit us down to 17. Let's play the land first, actually. Go to combat. Everything has Wither because of Massacre Girl. Ooh, Case of the Stash Skeleton. So opponent's going to block the sweep. Ooh, this actually works, right? So the Preacher's trade Geological Appraiser dies, we draw a card. And then we can Virtue the Bat to draw another card. You know what? Let's play the case. Get down the case. Pass the turn. Opponent's down to 15, and Massacre Girl is doing its thing. Opponent, land. Yeah, Massacre Girl, I don't think gets the credit that it deserves for its snowball potential. Like, if you build around, wow, an opponent scoops it up. Can't beat the Massacre Girl. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. So opponent, Rakdos midrange by the looks. What is our tech against Rakdos midrange? So Gix's command's probably necessary. Aklazat seems good, and maybe the Liliana's for the grind fest. So Life of Toshiro Yumazawa, a little less appealing in this matchup. Maybe we like go down one case and maybe one virtue, run it like that. Well, that went pretty well. Like Massacre Girl, if it sits on the battlefield, it snowballs pretty impressively. And like 4/4 menace for 4, not busted stats, like shoulder it right, 4/5. So the menace does help though, but it has solid stats, and then damages wither is actually kind of intriguing against some decks. Like the ability to sort of chump attack but still get value out of it is actually pretty nice, and it helps shrink creatures to turn on all of our negative whatever removal spells. So Massacre Girl, that card's sweet. Well, let's see if we can win with it. That's the next challenge. Can we win with Massacre? Well, all right, there's Massacre Girls. We're gonna keep this. This hand isn't like busted. Ooh, I like the Lily. About it. Land and bad action. Well, we have potentially, they probably have to take Virtue, I guess, but then we get to bat them and we still have a Lily. If they don't take Virtue, then we just kill the bat. Well, play the land. We will get out of the bat plan. So I think we just take Gix. We don't, well, actually, is that fine? If our opponent plays Gix, they want to attack. Maybe we take Preacher, actually. Yeah, let's take Preacher. If our opponent plays Gix and attacks, we just get to block with our bat and then Liliana to kill the Gix. Gix. No attacks. Well, we will play the land. We'll play Liliana. Take it down. Ooh, they sack the bat. Okay, well, no attacks. They do get to spin it to win it with the Geological Appraiser. We'll see what they hit. Our removal spell on bat would be pretty good for them. All right, here it is. Geological Appraiser into go for the throw down the bat. All right, well, that was a good little turn for our opponent. Now the question for our opponent is, do they kill Lily or draw a card? They're gonna kill Lily, sure.
Isn't how things were supposed to go.
Well, we get to play the land. Oh, I think we have to kill the Gix. I really wanna play Massacre Girl, but it's so risky. Like if we play Massacre Girl and they just kill it and attack with both and draw 2, we're probably dead. The other option is kill the Gix, so the snowball's offline, and just play the case. And then they're gonna play Preacher, and I guess we play Preacher or Massacre Girl. The thing is though, if they had removal in hand, they would have just cast it, right? You know what? Massacre Girl doesn't know fear. There's no fear in Massacre Girl world. We're gonna slam it. We're gonna slam it and take the chance. If it sticks, we're in great shape. If it dies right here, we pretty much lose. All right, Preacher, that's fine. Ooh, the snowball can begin. Okay, so 1, 2. Virtue of Persistence on Gix. Draw a card, hopefully a land maybe? All right, hit the land, play the land. Liliana.
When I
take down Liliana, make you sack, and then get in with Massacre Girl. Down to 16. We don't really mind our opponent making a token too much. That's future fodder for our Massacre Girl. Now they're not drawing cards with the Gix. Plus, they probably gotta attack Lily here. Ooh, Gix's command. That's actually a huge draw for our opponent. So get rid of our Massacre Girl, get back 2 things from the graveyard. Opponent hits our Lily.
A delay.
Well, I mean, we're gonna play Massacre Girl, see what happens. Pass stirred. Live. 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 Opponent mountain. Gix. As long as they don't spin to win into another removal spell. Opponent combat attacks. Opponent gets to draw a card, unfortunately. Is it removal? Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, it's a bat. I mean, the bat is kind of bad for us, actually. That means we need to draw a removal spell because it can take the bloodline culling. So that actually is kind of bad. Now we're left without a removal spell. We draw a useless swamp. Well, play a Preacher. Play a case. Play the land, because Virtue's next turn potentially past the turn. The problem is now our opponent gets to snowball the Gix. So we're actually in a pretty bad spot since they managed to go off with the Gix. That bat was a really big hit. If we had this Bloodline Calling, we kill the Gix and we draw a card, and then we're in great shape. Instead, we lose a Bloodline Calling and our opponent gets to pop off. We could draw a removal spell, though. If we can draw a removal spell, things are still pretty good. Opponent attacks. We need to draw a removal spell, so we need to draw with this Preacher. Opponent gets to draw and draw. All right, did you hit a removal spell? Not yet. Oh, that was bad. Well, go to combat. Draw with Preacher. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Opponent gonna block the Preacher. Yep. But we get to Virtue, kill the bat, draw a card, get back Bloodline Culling. Oh, I'm so tempted to Bloodline Culling tokens here. Sweep the tokens. This does mean that Gix is alive, which is awkward. We get to draw 2 more cards, and we get to solve our case. Can we hit 1 more removal spell? Opponent sacks the blood. Well, they had a backup Gix anyway. Deep Cavern Bat. Well, play the land. Play the Deep Cavern Bat. How bad is Cruelty of Gix? Not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but... I mean, I guess I get to tutor with it. Yeah, let's take Cruelty of Gix. Solve the case, so we get to tutor next turn. There's the Dracosaur. Gets in with the Preacher. Well, I think we block with the bat. Actually, do we? They only draw 1 card. Yeah, we're gonna let them do it. All right, sure, draw with Gix. Hopefully it's not a go for the throat. Opponent passes. Well, okay, 1, 2. Tutor. So we gotta kill the Dracosaur one way or another. I guess we just take the Bloodline Calling and kill it. What's in our graveyard? A Preacher and a bat. Okay, so we're gonna take Black Sun's Twilight. We're going to play Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Kill that draw card. Play the land. Play Deep Cavern Bat. Take the Gix. Play a Valve Sleeper. So our opponent gets 1 turn with the Dracosaur. No attacks. How bad is it? Oh, pretty bad. Pretty bad. There's the go for the throat. Maybe going Black Suns was too greedy. It's got so much upside as the game goes long. Letting the Dracosaur live for a turn might just be too much. Yeah, I think that does it. Ugh. Oh, the greed. The greed. Well, I guess that's what we get for being greedy. Although, honestly, the go for the throat was on the top of their deck, right? So I guess, like, it didn't actually matter that much. If they were going to draw the removal spell for the Massacre Girl, they were probably in good shape anyway. We really want to be able to get it, to get back the Preacher or a Massacre Girl from the graveyard, but... Well, this hand does not have a Massacre Girl. But, well, okay, now it does. I think we just Tenacious Underdog here. Get our clock going. Get in there. Well, we only need 1 more land for Massacre Girl. Opponent, land, and Blood Tithe Harvester. Well, play the land. Opponent gonna take the beats. Yeah, I think we just pass and level up here. Opponent, land. Sure. I mean, we got multiple removal spells for it, so that's not gonna beat us. They're removal spells. It would be better if we could get a Massacre Girl down, but we need some manas for that. All right, takes the Virtue. I mean, that's fine, right? Because we can just kill it. All right. We really do need to draw land, though. Level up. We draw the land. Let's just play the land and pass. Actually, we'll get in with the underdog. So we have Invasion of Innistrad. If our opponent plays something big like Shieldred. All right, there's the Shieldred. Well, we take the 1. But now we get to do a little battling. Invasion of Innistrad. Snipe Shieldred. We draw land. Play the land. Actually, do we just attack? Let's just attack. This probably makes our opponent block. Well, 1, 2, 3. Let's level this up, draw a card. Kill the Blood Tithe Harvester. And now we'll play the Saga to snipe the bat. We're kind of trying to wait on the Massacre Girl until we can play it and trigger it right away. Or until our opponent has to kill like the Evolve Sleeper or something to get a removal spell out of their hand. All right, Cruelty of Gix, sure. Gonna take our Massacre Girl. The bad news for our opponent is this means we get to flip the battle though, which is kind of huge. So I think we just gain 2. How much is this? 3 mana. Actually, I think we just go all in on that. I mean, we do want to flip the battle. Deluge of the Dead. Play take Numa and pass turn. I kind of like this spot we're in now because of this Deluge of the Dead. This is gonna fizzle the reanimation and make a bunch of zombies. And we have the option of drawing with a Valve Sleeper. We're kind of in a good spot. We're kind of in a good spot, opponent. What do you got? They tutored something, so they should have some bomb in hand. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Actually, is that even worth it? Should we just make zombies? Probably. Sweep our board, opponent. Sweep our board. But we get to exile Shieldred, make a zombie. Exile Deep Cavern Bat, make a zombie. Flip our Saga, play the land, hit you to 7, and I think we just play a Valve Sleeper and pass. So when our opponent goes to reanimate, we can exile whatever they reanimate. All right, they're gonna pitch a Carnosaur, sure. This Deluge of the Dead is actually great here. I'm sure they're trying to reanimate the Carnosaur. It's not gonna work though, because apparently Invasion Innistrad's actually kind of good. Let's tap the Murex. All right, exile it, make a zombie. And opponent cannot overcome the Massacre. Well, our greed got us a little bit, just a little bit in game 2, going for that Black Suns Twilight and letting the Dracosaur live. But overall, we got to see Massacre Girl do some things. Game 3, it didn't really do anything because our opponent managed to deal with it. There's always there's a challenge with Massacre Girl, but it really is interesting. The question is like, do you just run it out on 4 and hope for the best? Or do you try to wait till like 6 or something when you can play it and kill something and draw a card? It really depends on the matchup and the game state. I feel like in this Rakdos matchup that's pretty removal heavy, waiting is often good. But in other matchups, you always just want to be slamming it on turn 4. But either way, it was a massacre. And honestly, the sneaky all-star of this last game was definitely the Invasion of Innistrad. Came down, sniped Shieldred, and then made 10 power of zombies and exiled reanimation targets. Not bad. Well, let's see if we can find a Massacre Girl and hope our opponent's playing creatures. Oh, this hand has what we want, but we can't cast it, so. Well, okay, this is better. I think we can put a land to the bottom. We're on the draw. Well, we found our Massacre Girl. We got a Bloodline Culling. Ooh, opponent's going aggro. Well, play the land past the turn. This should be interesting. We do need one more land. Oh, is it soldiers? Looks like soldiers. I haven't seen soldiers in a minute. Not in a minute. Well, play the land, play the bat. Opponent counters. I mean, we got some good sideboard cards for this matchup, I think. Opponent, land on human, gets in, hits us. Well, play the land. Yeah, I think we just pass for now, as weird as that sounds. All right. Well, we're going to cast this. Oh, boy. Now I'm regretting putting this land at the bottom. That's a land we need for our Massacre Girl. So I think we're casting Wedding Announcement. Kill the Recruitment Officer. We still really want to draw land. Down to 14. Opponent gets to draw. Land, land, land. Well, okay. Play the Saga. Snipe the Reinforcements. Oh, no. Oh, we'd be doing so much if we had our Massacre Girl down. Gets in for 1. Passes. Well, there's the land. Well, we're going to snipe a token. Play the land. Play a bat first. We're going to wait on the Massacre Girl for next turn. We're going to bat into Underdog here. Make sure our opponent doesn't have a removal spell for... All right, they run out of Tidebinder. I don't even know what our opponent's deck is. All right, past the turn. So they aren't really soldiers. They have a Cavern on human. I guess they're just blue-white cards. Brutal Cathar. All right, well, there goes the Underdog. Well, It is going to be up to this Massacre Girl. All right, flip our Saga. Play Massacre Girl. Pass the turn. Now we need a removal spell, preferably one that triggers Massacre Girl. We will block and block. Okay, so we kill the Tidebinder. We draw a card. Oh, opponent flips the Moonrage Brew. Not ideal. Well, play a Valve Sleeper. Play the land, and we got to pass. Opponent's going to Mirrex. So we need to find a removal spell for the Brute. Opponent, Zephyr Sentinel. Interesting, gonna pick up the Brute. Okay, this I actually like, because we have another Massacre Girl in hand anyway. All right, another Zephyr Sentinel. Picks up the Zephyr Sentinel. Although I guess it's a problem that they got a big flyer now, so we still kind of need removal. We're gonna start leveling up. Level up, level up. Opponent gets to flip the Brute. Removal, please. How about some removal, please? I think, though, if opponent attacks with everything, we don't die. The problem is they have this Zephyr Sentinel. So we can just Black Sun's Twilight the Brutal Cathar, reanimate a bat, and then we block. Yeah, I mean, I think this is our best bet. So Black Sun's Twilight for 5. We got to do it now because it'll flip. All right, so pay 5. Get back a bat. Kill the Brutal Cathar. Get back the Massacre Girl. Take the Zephyr Sentinel. That was a good little turn. Now we just got to get rid of the Zephyr Sentinel. Wedding announcement, sure. They want to draw a card, but this lets us draw a card. We'll just block with the Valve Sleeper, actually. So opponent gets to draw with Wedding Announcement, but we get to draw with Massacre Girl. And now hopefully we hit some removal and snowball. Oh, another Massacre Girl. So many Massacre Girls. Opponent draws with Wedding Announcement. Well, let's draw with a Valve Sweeper. Ouch, down to 5. That's not a bad one. Okay. So what are they going to target is the question. They're going to target Massacre Girl. So we are going to Invasion of Innistrad. Kill the Sentinel, draw a card. Pass the turn. Because we have a bunch of Massacre Girls in hand. All right, Recruitment Officer. That is annoying. I'm going to activate the Recruitment Officer. Finds an Adeline. Well, that's definitely an issue. Makes a token. Calling the Bloodline. Oh, God. That is an absurdly good draw. Combo time. We'll play Massacre Girl. The question is, do we have to try to play around a counter? I don't think we can afford to. I think we just have to do it now. In our dream world, they play the Adeline and then attack and we blow them out, but I think we just got to take the value and get it. Creature tokens, -2, -2. That's 3 new cards because of Massacre Girl. Yup. Swamp. Okay. Those are good draws. I mean, that's what we want to do, right? Like, we get the Massacre going and it snowballs. And when we draw into more removal, which just keeps it going until eventually we win. Found it. There's the Adeline. Knight Errant of Eos. Okay, that's a good one. Is it good enough, though? Found it. Another Adeline. Recruitment Officer. Plays the Recruitment Officer. And gonna flip the Wedding Announcement. Well, we untap. That is a big, scary board. We kind of want to flip this Invasion of Innistrad. Well, we play the land. Double Wedding Announcement's kind of annoying. Yeah, the flipping is a problem. Attack the Invasion of Innistrad. And block. Okay. So we give the Knight -5, -5. We kill them both. We draw 2 cards. Well, we play a Massacre Girl. We play a Valve Sleeper and pass the turn. These Recruitment Officers are an issue. If they hit removal for Massacre Girl. All right, Resolute Reinforcements, not removal. As it is, our opponent can't really attack that well. Wow, okay. Just kidding, opponent does attack. So they make a token. I mean, this is great for us, right? Block here, block here, block here. I mean, this is just great because we get to draw a ton of cards. We get to draw 2. I mean, Massacre Girl is popping off. Oh, no removal, though. All right, Adolene returns. Well, we'll level up. Draw a bat. So let's play a Deep Cavern Bat. Take the Resolute Reinforcements. Play a Deep Cavern Bat for no value. Play a land. Play a Case of the Stash Skeleton. Play Life of Toshiro Yumazawa. Pump the non-summoning sick bat. This has been a wild game. Hit the Invasion of Innistrad. Back up to 9 past the turn. This game has been insane. Swings with everything. Makes a token. Block here. Block here. I guess we have to block here. Actually, this isn't quite correct. All right, let's try this one more time. One more time. So you block here. You block here. You block here. Here. Opponent's gonna pump. We are going to level up. Wow, the Aganjo the Valve Sleeper, okay. I mean, this isn't great. We get to draw a card. It better be a good, ooh, okay, Virtue. Virtue is interesting at least. Pump on the bat. Let's pump on the skeleton. Flip Invasion of Innistrad. Make a couple zombies. This has been one of the best standard games I've played in a long time. Virtue of Persistence. Kill the Recruitment Officer. Draw a card. Preacher of the Schism. Play a Swamp. Pass the turn. What a wild game! Massacre Girl has drawn so many cards. Opponent goes to combat. Opponent pushes with everything. Well, we will eat a Nightmare and a Vios, make a zombie. I think Massacre Girl might actually be pulling this off somehow. Recruitment Officer, make a zombie. And we're gonna do some blocking. Block here, block here, block here, here. Aganjo, the Preacher of the Schism. I mean, they can pump, but it doesn't do much. So we draw a card. Demolition Field. That's like sort of relevant. Well, flip the Saga. I mean, we might as well go to combat. Actually, I think we leave back the bat. We might need to block with that. Get in, hit ya. Ooh, wait, are they gonna block? I mean, we're rooting for a block because then that solves the case. Just takes it. Well, we'll play Demolition Field, and this Invasion of Innistrad is doing some serious work too. 26 cards left in our deck. So they're gonna bounce the Massacre Girl. Okay. I mean, that's good, but the Invasion of Innistrad, I think, keeps us alive. They push with everything. We will exile a Brutal Cathar. Exile a Zephyr Sentinel. And a Recruitment Officer. And, wow, Invasion of Innistrad. Tishana's Tidebinder. All right, make some zombies to play some defense. So, block, 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 block. Do we even want them to get the Tidebinder back? That's probably bad. Should we be killing this Adolene? That's also kind of an issue. We actually got to think about this. We're at 8. So let's see. Block here, block here, block here, block there. Oh no, does this not work? Are we dying? So block there, block there, block there, block there, block there, and block there. All right, do some blocking. So we drop to 2. A bunch of stuff dies. Massacre Girl returns. Opponent runs out of Zephyr Sentinel. Replays the Adolene. Attack with the Skeleton. Are we still gonna die? They just have so many attackers and now they have a flyer. So I think we need to channel take Numa to get back a Deep Cavern Bat. Play the Deep Cavern Bat. We have 3 blockers. They have so many attackers. Oh, I think we're dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Are we gonna die after all this? I think we do. I don't know if there's a way out of it. We can only tutor with this at sorcery speed. This is too slow. This doesn't kill anything. We can make zombies, but not enough. Yeah. Wow. Can't even really get upset about that. That was a really amazing game. We didn't win, which obviously we would have rather won, but that was a really interesting, intricate game of Standard. So I guess shout out to our opponent for having a really interesting match. Unfortunate, we almost stabilized. Like, we drew so many cards with Massacre Girl. Our opponent just, the double wedding announcements, everything they made was so big. I think maybe we should have been more aggressive at trying to kill the Adeline. That might have been the right play, to try to really focus on getting rid of the Adeline. Well, we're gonna cut these skeletons, which have been very disappointing, honestly. This card, it looks so interesting as a like pseudo demonic tutor, but in practice, my goodness, it is actually pretty clunky. I'm coming around. So when I first saw this, I was like, all right, you got to be a sack deck. And then I was like, all right, in this deck, like, all right, we can kill it with like Life of Toshiro Yumazawa if we have to. Bloodline Culling can get it on token mode. But in practice, it's just like the fact that it can't block the creature's so useless. The susness of the creature. I mean, we definitely want all these glistening deluges, which are going to be great. Yeah, let's go down the Invasion of Innistrad. Let's run it like that. Can't keep this because we ain't got no lands. Glistening Deluge is very good. Gonna have to look at the clock too. That was a long game 1. And I think we again just put a land to the bottom. Although last time we did this, we couldn't find land number 4 for Massacre Girl, so. Glistening Deluge really good against white decks. 3 mana, all green and white creatures get -3, -3. Everything gets -1, -1. So actually super good against these white go wide decks. Land and recruitment officer. Well, I think we just kill that. Get rid of the recruitment officer. I haven't been impressed with Case of the Stash Skeleton. Been very impressed with Life of Toshiro Yumazawa though. This card's felt really good. It actually snipes quite a bit. The pump mode's relevant, and then eventually you get a creature out of it. Opponent has a brutal Cathar. All right. Life of Toshiro Yumazawa. Play the land. Play the underdog. Ooh. If our opponent goes aggro here, they're going to get so wrecked. If they just go land Brutal Cathar on Tenacious Underdog attack, we get them hard with this Glistening Deluge. Night Air Neveos. Okay, that's probably better for our opponent. Do a little digging. Find Zephyr Sentinel and friends. Well, we'll flip the Saga. We'll play Tank Numa. We'll play Massacre Girl. Yeah, I think we get in with the underdog. Gotta expect that they're gonna Brutal Cathar here, I think. Yeah, there's a Brutal Cathar. We do have a good answer for it, though. Opponent, big-ish attack. Not as big of an attack. Gets and hits us. Well, we will just Glistening Deluge. Get back Massacre Girl. Hit you for 3. And now we have another one. What is the clock? 12 minutes, 19. Oh, wow. We're the slow ones. All right, so we got to be aware of our clock, apparently. Facet. Oh, we're going to go to combat. At this point, we're kind of okay with this underdog dying. Bodyguard. Yeah, let's just kill it. Draw a card. Opponent takes the beats. Well, play the land. Yeah, I guess we just pass. We could play this, but I feel like our opponent, we see enough X1s in hand that we can probably draw a card off it eventually. Opponent, wedding announcement. Well, now we're definitely going to draw a card off it. Opponent. Yes, playing right into the Massacre. Opponent passes, gets a token. I mean, this is where Massacre Girl is just so sweet and snowbally. What if we Glistening Deluge into this? We kill everything? How aggro are we trying to be here? I mean, I guess, all right, let's just do this. Let's just play Life of Toshiro Yumazawa, snipe the token, draw a card, play the land, fire up Mishra's Foundry, and we're just going to swing with everything. They get to kill something, but they get -1/-1 counters. Can't block Massacre Girl because of Menace. Gonna block the land. Drop to 2. Well, your go, opponent. All right, found an answer for the Massacre Girl, but I think it might just be too late here unless they have something else. Well, and we also have another Massacre Girl. Well, kill the token, play the land, play the Massacre Girl, and opponent scoops it up. Man, Massacre Girl is so absurd. Wow, can we actually win this? Is there a chance we win this? Do we want Gix's command? You know what? Let's go down one Extract Truth, up one Gix's command, run it like that. All right, on to game 3 in a wild match. Massacre Girl versus Soldiers. I guess it's Soldiers. I guess just Azorius. It's not really Soldiers, but Soldier-ish. They're playing the Soldier land. Land for our opponent. Recruitment officer. Well, we'll play the land past the turn. Gets in for one. Well, play the land, play the bat. Ooh, they run out reinforcements. Gains a bunch of life. Yeah, let's take Tidebinder for now. Pass the turn. Recruitment officer. Gains a life. Goes attacking. We'll just take it. Down to 16. Get in with a bat. Play a Mishra's Foundry and a Preacher of the Schism. What we're trying to set up here is Massacre Girl Glistening Deluge. So they destroy Evil the Preacher, hit us for 5. We Massacre Girl, and then hopefully Glistening Deluge should just draw a million cards. Yup, all right. These are big turns, these are big turns. Found it. Oh, wow, okay. That is one of our opponent's best draws. Knight Errant of Eos. Finds Werefox Bodyguard and a Zephyr Sentinel. All right, that's bad. That's bad. Well, we'll play a Swamp. We'll play a Massacre Girl. And pass the turn. Ooh, are they going to Werefox? Land on human. Is our last card a Ganjo? Is that what this is representing? Oh, I guess they also have Zephyr Sentinel. Well, block here. Block here. Wow! Wow. They really did top deck a Ganjo. Oh, that is brutal. I'll play the land. What a draw. Glistening Deluge. Tenacious Underdog. Yeah, I think our opponent's gonna get this one. Oh, that was we even thought of it, but we couldn't really do anything about it. We couldn't not block. But yeah, it is a little unfortunate that was the card they drew. Yeah, down to 8. And now we got nothing. Literally nothing. We draw more swamps. We play a Mirrex that doesn't do anything. What a game. We're not gonna win this one, but what an amazing game all around. Just like really close, interesting Magic. And in the end, our opponent top decked a Ganjo at the right time, and that's gonna let him steal the win. We got to do this. We got to fire up the Mishra's Foundry. Double block the Knight Errant of Eos. Lose a land, unfortunately. Drop to 7. Opponent draws a card. And they have all these flash threats now, too. We draw, boy, so many lands. Yeah, well, Tenacious Underdog. Yeah, not the best time to flood out. Boom. Play the land. Draw a card. Life of good card, but I think it might be a little bit late. Opponent, Lunarch Veteran, goes attacking, down to 4, makes a token. I'll play another land. Life of Tajiro Yumezawa. Go after the Phantom. So if they pick it up, it goes back to exile, right? I'm pretty sure. So opponent bounces it. Oh, it goes back to hand? Really? Oh, it only triggers on graveyard. Huh. I mean, technically we can live for another turn, but I don't think we have a way to actually get back in the game. Bloodline calling the Zephyr Sentinel. We're gonna fight to the bitter end. This has been too good of a game to not fight to the bitter end. Oh, all right. Well, that's the bitter end. Oh, well, we didn't win that one, but that was one of the sweetest games we played with this deck. So that's just really good Magic. How can you be upset when you had a really good game of Magic? We didn't come out on top. That Ganjo was we had like such a sweet setup. We were like, if they didn't have that Ganjo, I think we probably win the game because we untap with Massacre Girl into like Wrath and draw 4, I think. And from that point, we're very heavily favored. but they had the Ganjo and the Ganjo on the Massacre Girl. And then we also did kind of flood out, right? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. There's a land on the graveyard, 9 lands. So we drew 9 lands out of 16 cards. Our opponent, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands out of 18 cards. So they just drew like 5 extra action spells compared to us. So wow. Well, what a game. What a game. So what did we learn this week about Massacre Girl Unknown Killer in Standard? And overall, I think we went exactly 50-50 with the deck. Unfortunately, my untap.gg is still bugged, so I don't have the official record, but I'm pretty sure by my count, we went 4-4 overall with the deck, which is a pretty reasonable record. More importantly, we really got to see Massacre Girl pop off. So the downside of Massacre Girl is it is a creature that dies to random removal spells, and we saw that in some games where we had this sweet setup. The Soldier Azorius game might be the best example, where we had this awesome Massacre Girl turn set up, but our opponent had the Ganjo to kill it because we had to block, and then everything kind of fell apart. So that's the downside of Massacre Girl. On the other hand, the upside of Massacre Girl is really, really wild, to the point where I'm kind of surprised no one plays this card. So yes, we got to play some like janky removal spells to really maximize it, but it was perfectly fine. The removal was good enough, and we got to see some games with Massacre Girl coming down in the following turn, like drawing us 7 cards, as we also mostly wrath away our opponent's board. We got to see it sneaking in for damage thanks to Menace, or making it hard for our opponent to block thanks to Wither. So I actually think Massacre Girl is kind of like a sleeper card in Standard, and the deck performed actually really reasonably well. Also, shout out to Bloodline Calling. I know we talked about it a little bit through the video, but Bloodline Calling, I think this card's actually pretty legit, and I think in the current meta, it's actually like a really good card that we should probably play more often. But I was really impressed by that card as well. We got to see the dream of our opponent playing this Song of Tatanzan deck, and our opponent like getting down their War Leader's Call, casting this huge Song of Tatanzan to make like 6 hasty 2/2s that are just gonna wreck us, and we're just like, Bloodline Calling, everything -2/-2, your tokens are gone, go on to win the game. So all in all, I really like this deck. I think the deck is reasonably competitive. Massacre Girl is super fun to play because we're kind of like this aggro deck, but we draw 7 cards some turns randomly thanks to Massacre Girl, and we get to take advantage of just some weird removal that you wouldn't play in most decks. So that's Massacre Girl. That's our deck for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Looking for even more magic? Well, check out the deck where we played the biggest Brain Infect deck ever in Modern, or maybe the one where we looked at the complete history of the Modern meta.